Good morning and welcome to this week's Government Affairs edition of Cup of In the Know. We've been receiving a lot of questions this week about pool openings and whether or not our properties are permitted to open their pools. The short answer is we don't know yet. We have reached out to the policy office of the Department of Health and asked for some guidance, and we've also offered some suggestions. They've told us that we will receive some guidance on this next week. They're calling the guidance for public bathing, and we believe that they will incorporate some of our suggestions. So some of the things that we suggested were similar to what Florida's doing, where we may be able to open our pools right now, but not necessarily use them until our counties are in that yellow and green phase. And then at that time, we would also implement social distancing guidelines when using the pool. So again, look for further guidance on that next week. Another hot topic this week has been the reopening of the state and the different phases, what the red, yellow, and green phases mean and what they mean for us in our industry. So most of us are actually still in the red counties. That's the southeastern part of the state, the south central part of the state, and the southwestern part of the state. The counties that are in yellow have received other specific guidelines. So forgive me, I have them in front of me, and I just want to make sure that I'm sharing the most accurate information. So you might see me look down at some of the paper I have in front of me just to make sure that we are communicating what is correct and accurate to all of our members. So the counties that are in yellow, under the guidelines, you are still, if you can do it and you can telework, you must continue to allow employees to telework. Again, those employees who can telework should telework. No different than what we've recommended to our members in the past when all of this started and we started seeing the stay-at-home orders. So continue to do that until the stay-at-home orders for those counties are lifted or the business closures are fully lifted. So that would be in that yellow and green phase, but more green than yellow, if that makes sense. Second, we wanted to clarify that there were 3 industries that the state decided to give a little more leeway to. One of them is construction. I know we've reported on that in the past, and there were specific guidelines for construction. I believe they're available on our website. If not, feel free to contact me and I will provide that information to you. The other industry was the vehicle industry, so being able to buy and sell vehicles. I believe that most of that is to be conducted online, but I've not read those guidelines any further because they don't particularly pertain to us. Then lastly, the last industry that they talked about to give some more leeway to was the real estate industry. So what we found is that there is some confusion among our members about whether or not that includes us. The short answer is that it does not. We were already considered to be exempt because we provide housing, but that was specific guidelines that I had to work with the governor's office on and get them to agree to. So, which they did, as well as the DCED and the Department of Health. However, when they talk about real estate in these terms, they're talking about the buying and selling of homes, not rental real estate. And again, if we want to get more specific, it pertains solely to homes that were in the process of closing. So if you were in the process of closing on your home, whether you were buying or selling, and the COVID crisis hit and everyone was under stay-at-home orders and you could no longer close on your home, you are now permitted to do that. And they included, I think, some online notary services as well to make sure that that was covered. So we just want to clear up some of that confusion around real estate. So rental housing, for us, it really hasn't changed. The things that we were doing before, we are still permitted to do. But for those of you who are not in those yellow counties, we want to be very clear that our recommendation is that you are still kind of following the rules that we issued during the stay-at-home order. For the individuals who are in the yellow counties, the guidance for you has changed a little bit. We intend to put out an email with more information on that, more specific information on that. Right now, this is just kind of in general terms. But another point to add is that if you are in the yellow, you still need to follow the health and safety orders that the governor's office and the Department of Health laid out. So that's cleaning high-touch areas frequently, making sure you're disinfecting common areas, providing security if you had security in the past to make sure that people are social distancing in your entranceways, and still continue to follow that. And that's true for both the red and the yellow phases. And then lastly, there is new guidance for how you should be communicating with your employees and residents. There's a form that once you get into the yellow category, you will sign off on that form. You will have someone designated as your pandemic security officer, or pandemic safety officer. These are all new terms for us. And that person signs off on it as well. It can be someone that works for you. It could be a property manager, a leasing agent, somebody that's on site. It could be a maintenance tech, whatever you deem fit. You don't need to report that back to the Commonwealth. You just need to have the form visibly located somewhere at your entrance or in your leasing office. Or if you're one of our supplier members, somewhere in your office that makes sense, near the entranceway. So I think that some of the guidelines are really related to retail services, but we want to make sure that we're being as compliant as possible. So again, I apologize for looking down at the paper, but we wanted to make sure that we're providing the most accurate information. We will be giving a more detailed report, probably through email, so keep an eye out for that. And if you have any other questions, as always, feel free to reach out to us. I can be reached at lsailhammer@paahq.com, or you can reach out to us at info@paahq.com. Thank you and have a great day.